Nick Moses 05 Gaming Podcast. As always, your host, Nick Moses 05. I have my co host, Joe. Joe, how are you doing?
Doing awesome, Nick. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I have two wonderful people with me from Tic Toc Games. Can you both introduce yourselves, please?
Sure. My name's Abraham Morales. I'm the game director of B.Ark.
Sarah
And-
Pocock. Oh, did I jump the gun? I'm Sarah Pocock. I am the studio art lead at Tic Toc Games, so I oversee all of the artwork in the studio, including the artwork for B.Ark.
Nice. So I'll ask a series of questions, Joe. I'm gonna let you come because I seen Sarah. I'm not gonna jump on Sarah, but I heard about the art. Okay, and that's something we're gonna talk about because this art very colorful. Automatically, my daughter's seen it and says, "I want to watch it," and it nothing to do with a cartoon. Okay, just all game trailer, and she's like, "I want to watch it." Where did the inspiration come for this type of art here?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to answer that for you. So the game started out just as a simple nugget of an idea. What if our pets piloted space mech ships? What would that be like? And from that, we came up with this really lovable cast of characters. Abraham is streaming the game right now, if you guys want to take a look at that as well. And in addition to being a shoot 'em up game and sort of a love letter to all of the shoot 'em up games that we loved from the 90s, we also wanted to create a fun Saturday morning cartoon kind of feel. That feeling of waking up excited Saturday morning, running to the TV, putting on your favorite action cartoon, and just that level of fun and excitement.
Nice. And I'm sitting here. I just had to watch for a moment because Abby said he was streaming, and we're learning this Discord thing, okay? But I have it on screen now, so this is going to be great for my audience. Just on the fly stuff. Sarah, you're a master, okay? You're a master. So, now, along with that, is this something when doing the art or having the idea, did you already have an idea for like an animated series that you then wanted to take further? Or is this just, like a game and you want to focus on a game first and that's something to come down the line later?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, we really want to tell a compelling story. And it doesn't really matter what tools you use to tell that. The tool we're using right now is this game. So we can show you our opening cinematic after Abraham goes through a couple of levels for you. But it's really all about getting this cast of fun characters together, getting into the world, showing you, the player, what their stakes are, and just being very honest about taking their emotions seriously, taking their backstory seriously. And yes, absolutely, if people respond to this positively and want more, a cartoon animated series is absolutely not out of the question at all.
Now, Abraham, I'm not leaving you out. Okay, I just don't think you're hanging there. Okay, so Abraham, let me ask you, working on this project, what has been the biggest challenge? Because one thing I've heard from someone sitting in your seat is having this vision of being, hey, within 1 year, we're going to have this, but it extends to about 5 or 6. So for you, I would like to ask, in this creative development, what did you think the timeline would be for this, and what was the biggest challenge?
So I was able to join Tic Toc Games in March 2020. The team already had a great prototype with the main concepts of what we really wanted to drive with the cooperative mechanics of the game, some of the competitive mechanics of the game, and really bring back these shoot 'em up games to players of all skill levels. So that was at the core of the prototype. We were still trying to cook up, what kind of characters, what kind of story, and all of that. So in order for us to go full production, we had an estimate of about a year of development to get this right. And again, the great advantage is that we already had a working prototype. But back in March 2020, something happened to the entire world that kind of made it difficult a little bit to make a couch co-op game experience and game development in general. It's very team focused. It's it's something that you definitely benefit of having people next to you sitting down or looking over people's shoulder and being able to have conversations or just play tests. So that definitely was hard for us to deal with. But thankfully we're all set for releasing this game this year, this summer.
Yes. Now I'm gonna get ready to pass it to Joe, but Abraham, are you literally playing while you're talking to me? Because you just went through that. Amazing. I'm like, I know he's not answering my question while he's doing that. Is that you playing?
Yes. Yes.
I'm,
I
I,
played this game a lot lately. I've been playing it for a bit of a year now.
okay. All right. I'm gonna pass it to Joe. Joe, take it. I'm done.
Okay, cool. Nice to meet you guys. Quick question. Was everything made in-house for the game, for development-wise, or did you have any outside help?
So
Great question. Oh, go ahead. You talk about dev, and then I'll talk about art when you're done.
Absolutely. Okay. So on the dev side of things, the engineers and everyone is in-house.
Awesome.
We have 2 studios at Tic Toc here in the US and in the Philippines. So there was a lot of coordination and communication between both those teams in terms of quality assurance, in terms of engineers, level design. And then we also had a super talented team of artists on both studios. But Sarah, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Absolutely. And before we get too far into the art, something that I hope is coming through in the stream here is all of our animation for our main characters, as well as our enemies. And you can see it most on the boss animations, actually. But this is traditionally drawn frame by frame, traditional animation. So it's part of bringing in that Saturday morning cartoon feel and just really trying to make the art style as widely appealing and accessible as possible. So all of the in-game animations, the sprite animations, they were all the keyframes were done in-house. We worked with a team of really great freelance animators from the Los Angeles area, and just really, really worked very, very hard to try to get the highest animation quality possible. So the game didn't only feel fun to play, but is also beautiful to look at. And in addition to that, we have an opening cinematic for the game that was completely storyboarded and laid out in-house. And then we worked very closely with an outsourced animation studio, much like the Saturday morning cartoons of the 90s, to make sure that it hit the quality level that we wanted to tell our story.
That's very awesome. I grew up on Saturday morning cartoons, bowl of cereal, mixed cereal, and, watching cartoons and playing some video games. So I love that, what you've implemented into it. My next question is there any hidden levels?
There is a hidden level, yes. You would need to clear the entire game to unlock it. And there's also a hidden character and a hidden difficulty mode. So we tried to make this as easily accessible for players of all skill levels, but I play a lot of shmups. I grew up with these sort of games back in the 90s, so I wanted to make sure that we were also providing a certain level of challenge for those that are familiar with the shmup genre and those that and those that are quite the veterans on these types of games. So
yes, yeah. You can't have too many shmups. That's what I always say. My next question is this available on all platforms?
Yeah, this is coming out on Nintendo Switch and on Steam.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I'm going to pass the floor on to Nick Moses 05 podcast.
Nice. And you said Nintendo Switch. I don't think he knows, Joe or Sarah, that majority of my subscribers are from Nintendo Switch.
Oh, yes.
This
definitely.
is like gold. They're like, they're just eating it up. Now, I love to ask some of the weird things. So let me ask first, what was the weirdest bug that either of you have seen where you was just like, what the? Get over here right now. Take a look at this. What is it?
Oh, there's been so many of those that it's really hard to keep track.
At least you're on it. Most people on it.
No, I mean, if there's bugs, absolutely. And one of the weirdest is when you pull a lever somewhere and then elsewhere something else explodes. So that's usually the situation. So I mean, yeah, well, all kinds of those type of bugs. But you know, as you start developing this, it's kind of makes it really hard to keep track of the all of the systems that are piled up and developed on top of each other. So, yeah, I don't think I could point out a specific example, but there were definitely many of those. Yes.
I can think of a visual one that made me laugh really hard.
Nice.
You guys saw Spike the Narwhal. He was a mini boss earlier that Abraham was playing. There was a bug where he would just be showing up randomly in the levels, like not as something to interact with, but you would just be play testing, and then all of a sudden, Spike the Narwhal would just be flying through the screen doing attack animations out of nowhere.
No, I love hearing those. I always just love hearing about the weirdest bugs. It's always just some weird one that's just so funny. And then, that's what happens. You add a feature, something might break, you got to go through and fix it. So I just love hearing that. Now, let me ask, any Easter eggs? You did mention the hidden levels. Is there any other Easter eggs we might be not mentioning?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the characters that's a boss in the game, in one of the levels, has a bit of a name that's kind of reminiscent to one of the most popular ships in shmup history. So yeah, it's a bit of a pun as well.
Mm, good. Okay. I'm just all over the place right now. Excuse me. But I see the time we're on it. So, Sarah, let me ask you about this story because my daughter is a sucker for a story. Okay. So each one of these characters, they all have their own kind of aura. Is there a really specific background to each character? How was this thought out?
Yes, absolutely. That's a great question. And thank you for asking it because I love talking about this stuff. One of my favorite parts of B.Ark is the story itself. And we're watching the opening cinematic right now, which sets up the stakes for the characters and the story of the game. And in addition to this opening cinematic and the mission briefs for each level, there's actually a hidden memory that I think Abraham mentioned already that you can find and unlock. It actually fills in the backstory for each of these characters, for our dog, cat, rabbit, and bear character. And I love these stories. Marv, the bunny rabbit, his backstory is one of my favorites. Felicity the cat, not only because I'm obsessed with cats and I love cats and I always play as the cat, but her backstory is actually my top favorite. And it's the one that really feels the most 90s action cartoon to me. So for everyone who plays through the levels, definitely be on the lookout for Felicity's hidden memory. It's my favorite backstory in the whole game.
Nice. And as far as the vision of the story, is this something that you wanted to keep kind of in the same timeline, where nobody ages, kind of like The Simpsons? Or is this something where you thought of a story progressing and maybe some future growth?
Yeah, for right now, it's a self-contained story. It's told from beginning to end in this game. Like we said before, if people love it and they want more B.Ark, I think we could definitely, the story's told in a way that it can definitely keep going after the end.
Nice. Okay. And I'm not going to take up time. I feel like I'm taking it off because I'm just like a kid in here asking these questions. Joe, I'm going to pass it back to Joe.
Okay, cool. What was your happiest moment when you were developing the game?
I would say just the fact that the first time we were able to play together during the quarantine, so being back in the office, we started this game in full production without being in the same room for many months. And a lot of the gameplay tests we were doing remotely. So the fact that we were able to be together and enjoy a multiplayer experience together as a team, that really made us really happy, and it kind of reflects on what we wanted to do for our game audience as well. People that are able to play this back at home with their friends, with their family, and just enjoy a cool Saturday morning cartoon adventure together.
And after the quarantine's over, it's time to get the quarantine together.
No, I hear you. And something happened with Joe. I don't know. The Discord thing has been crazy. We're old guys trying to figure this stuff out. So I don't doubt he's going to be popping right back in saying, excuse me,
Sorry
happens.
about that. I feel like an idiot here. Just give me 1 second. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know my friend.
Please,
I know my friend. I know him
no
too good.
worries.
You
Here
know.
we go.
Oh, we love him. We love him for that joke. Go ahead. I know you had a couple other questions, Joe. I know.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys. What was your speaking of what I just went through? What was your biggest problem with E3 live?
Uh, ooh, I don't know. I think the fact that we're not able to have these events in person is definitely uh, I don't know. It's an issue for sure,
It is.
but and also it's not the same as walking around and looking at everybody's booths and getting to talk to the developers, being a little bit more personal. But I don't think that's an E3 side. It's mostly an issue to the circumstances that we're living in.
Yeah, it's more a state of the world problem than an E3 problem. But like Abraham was saying, there's nothing we would have loved more than to see you guys in person, have each of you pick up a controller, jump into co-op mode with us so we could go through all the mechanics. Nick, we could talk about how you can play with your daughter, how you can help carry a younger player or a newer player to this genre through, and how to make it fun for them, because that's one of the biggest strengths of this game.
That's awesome. What made you choose pets for the characters?
So the characters were designed by an artist in our studio named Mireille Yi, and she really just loves dogs and cats. And so we thought, okay, let's make a fun shoot 'em up game. What should the characters be? Well, we all love our pets, and we think our pets are adorable. So let's start there.
Okay. One more question. I'm gonna pass on to Nick. Have either of you have done any voices or any type of sounds for the game, like kind of like hidden voices or hidden sounds or anything like that?
Yes. So that's funny. Mark Gomez, one of our core directors in this title, did one of the voices in the first level in Neptune, the narwhal voice. That's him doing growly sounds. Sarah, I didn't know if you don't know if you knew that, but that's a thing.
No, I didn't know that. Hey, the more you know, the better. You can really dig
And
into part.
And my voice isn't in the game, but my husband, who is a voice actor, and speaking of cartoons, if you ever watched the Venture Brothers on Adult Swim, he did the
Yes,
voice of Dr. Venture. His voice is in this game. He's in the
that's
opening
very awesome.
cinematic. So that's sort of an Easter egg for Adult Swim fans. Yeah, he does some astronaut voices in the opening cinematic. And be on the lookout for some character trailers coming out, and you'll hear some more of him in those as well.
Okay, very cool. All right, Nick, you got the floor.
Okay, so we don't have much time left, so I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna say, Abraham first. I see you playing through, man. I'm still amazed. I'm trying to not watch you and focus, but you're good. Okay, so we'll just give you your props now. Okay, well, you got the best high score, but great game. I do want to say to you both, the artwork and the game. Shmups, it seems like, was very popular in this indie scene this year. I didn't expect them to be like a couple shmups. I expect to see maybe one or two, but it seems like shmups. There were a couple of them. So I don't know if the retro scene's coming back. Sarah, I would like to say, love the story. The opening cinematic was, I mean, literally one of, I almost want to drop a tear. You know, it was just so touching. I mean, it was just like you watch it and automatically you think, I don't care who you are. If you put yourself in that scenario, and it's like you live or they live. That is just very touching. So if kudos to you in that story. But I just more wanted to take one last question. As far as E3, what was some of the feedback that you got back that you probably gonna use to maybe, either for fine tuning or just keep in mind for any future things to come?
So, plenty of feedback that we got. One of them was that they had an experience of playing the demo with their family, and we got a quote during the IGN stream saying, "Hey, this is a shmup for dads that want to share this experience with their family." So that one was pretty cool. We also got some feedback on some typos in one of the dialogue sequences.
That's right. I
So
forgot.
That we already fixed, by the way.
I'm the master of typos. I make more mistakes than should be allowed by law.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was great that we got that as well, and a lot of positive reception. Like really, you said our shmups backs, our retro games are back, and really, it's the developers that we're currently working on indie titles or in big studios that grew up with these sort of games back in the '90s. So yeah, absolutely, we're bringing it back.
Yes. So, other than that, I don't have anything else. You know, you guys were wonderful. Like I said, it wasn't going to be much of your time. I do see the game, and everybody watching will be able to see it as well. And just before you guys are out, what is something you would like to say to everyone as far as to either get them interested, or you did say 2021. Are we talking? Can we get a hint what we're talking now?
So I could say that we're releasing summer 2021. We announced the release date, but we're still embargoed until Friday to officially say the date on other outlets. But yeah, we're coming out this summer.
Nice. Good.
Very awesome.
I thank you, Abraham, Sarah. It was a pleasure. I thank you guys so much. Is there anything you'd like to say, Joe, before we
One quick question, really quick question. Are you guys gonna sell any like toys or plushies for this? Because these characters are super cute that you have.
We have been talking about plushies. Like, they are perfect for plushie designs. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well, other than that, I thank you both, and you both have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you.
Bye-bye.